Hey everyone, this is Corwin Smith from TechTower.com, and today I'll be starting our series with the apartment building. We're going to start by modeling it out in this tutorial. Next up, Keith will be unwrapping it and marking the seams and stuff for it. Then he will bring in the UV layout for the windows, and he will be customizing some textures for our windows. And then I will be finishing off the texturing of the building. Then we will be doing a lighting setup, which we will render out and bring that into After Effects, which we will composite into a video plate. So with that, we will get started. We'll delete our point lamp here, and we'll start. So we have our basic cube here, and we're just gonna work with this to start. So we're gonna tab into edit mode. Come on. There we go. Gotta click on the cube, sorry. So tab in edit mode, go to face select, and we're just gonna move this up a little bit on the plane here. So we're gonna go G, Z, and then we're gonna move it up 2 units. And then we're gonna go into orthographic by pressing 5. And we're just gonna work at the top of the building a bit right now. So, or I guess the middle, not the top. So we're gonna go and select the top face, and we're gonna make it a little bit bigger. So we'll go G, Z, and we'll make it about 8 units or so bigger. And then we'll move it out on the side. Go G, Z, no, let's lie. G, Y, and about 3. And I'll move everything over 1. We go on G and Y again. And then we'll make this part a little bit wider as well, maybe just 1 unit. So we'll go G, X, and 1. And so there's a start to it, but that's not even close to being done. So we can go back to the front. We'll move everything over 1 unit on the X-axis by going G, X, and then 1. And that's just so we have everything lined up on the planes there, or the axis. So press 1 to go to front. Press E, X, and then we'll move this out 3 units. Sorry, right click, press Control Z. We're gonna do E, X, -3. Sorry, my mistake. And we'll do the same thing again. So E, X, -3. And so we'll have 3 different parts to our building. We'll add a little bit more shape to this. So we'll go right click these two. Press 3 to go to right orthographic, and I'll go E, Y, 2, and I'll do the same thing with this one here. So go front, E, Y, and 2. And so if we tab out, you can see it's kind of having an interesting shape to it. We'll go ahead and do it on the other side as well though. So go 3 to get to the right, and we'll go E, Y, and this time I'll go -2, and we'll do that again by just having this face. So go 3 to go to the right again, E, Y, and then -2. And so that'll be more or less the shape of our building. There's still a lot of stuff we need to do to add on to it. So go tab in again, and we're gonna extrude this bottom part to get it onto the level of the ground. So we're gonna go to the top, Control R to add a loop cut, and we'll just move that down by going G, Y, and -0.5, just to line it up with this for now. And then we will go and we'll add stuff for a pillar. So we'll go to 7 again, go Control R, middle mouse wheel up to add a second one. I'll right click to just leave it where it is. And we're gonna move this one down to right about there. It's about the second little tick mark there. And then we'll move this just 2 above it to about there. And we'll do the same thing going vertical this time. So middle mouse wheel up again, just right click to have it set there, and we'll do Alt right click to get this edge loop, Move it over to the 2 there again, just looking down at the grid here. A little bit more. And same deal here. There we go. Alright, so now we're gonna extrude the bottom part down to ground level. So we're gonna go into face select mode, and we're just select whatever selection method you like. I'm just gonna press C and then click this part. Just a little bit faster. And then we'll select the few remaining faces we need. We're gonna select this one right here for our little pillar. Don't select any of the other ones, otherwise it's like flush against the wall. But you can do whatever you like as well if you wanted to do all 4 and have a thick pillar, or just the one on the outside. But I'm just gonna select this one for now. So we'll go to front and press E, and we'll go down the Z-axis by -1. And that'll put us on the ground. And as you can see now, we have a little pillar. We're all on the ground, and everything's fine and dandy. Next up with that, we're gonna work on the roof a bit. With apartment buildings and stuff, there's your little part on the roof that goes up so you don't fall off of it. So we're gonna model those in, and we're gonna do 3 different tiers where this one's gonna be taller than the next, and so it kind of go up like a staircase like that. Not quite that extreme, but you know what I mean. So tab back in, go to the top, and so now we have to add some more cuts. So just like these ones here where there are 2 off, or on the grid there are like 2 intervals, we'll go and just continue doing that all on the top. And I think we just have the other side left. Oop. Alright, let's finish this up. There we go. So what we're gonna do now is go to face select mode and press C first for the selection method. That's how I'm gonna do it. And we'll select all these faces. And then when you go on to get to the stuff where it's nice and small and you don't want to select more than you need, just gonna do right click by holding shift as well, so I can keep selecting. And we're just gonna leave this area here. That's gonna stay where the level it is right now, and we're gonna move the rest up to add the little rails here, so that people can't fall off the building and stuff that you see. And we're just gonna keep going up from there. So we're gonna go 1 in the front and press E, Z, and we can go up 0.25, and then we're gonna go to the top, C, and then I'm gonna press the middle mouse wheel, and this will just let me deselect. And we go back to front, go E, 0.25, and go to top, deselect this middle part, front by pressing 1, E, 0.25, go back to top by pressing 7, same thing, deselect, front, E, to extrude, and 0.25, and we'll just do this once more by going top, deselect these faces, front, extrude, and 0.25. So if we tab out, we can now see that we have our roof pretty well done. Last thing we're going to add later on is just some little doors for the people to get out. But more or less, our roof's done now. So what we have left still is adding a door down here, adding some windows, and then those little escapes up at the top. So first we'll do the door. So we'll go 1 to go to front, tab in. And as you can see, we're going to be working on this face here, so when we're in front, we can just kind of look head on. So do our loop cut by doing Control R, and then we'll middle mouse wheel up, and right click just to set it there. And I'm gonna scale it a little bit, a little larger. So go S to scale, X just on the X, and I'll bring it out a little bit, about there. And then I'm gonna go do another loop cut in there, middle mouse wheel up again, right click, and I'm gonna scale this down on the X quite a bit, about there. Looks about right. So what we're gonna do now is get our door frame ready. So we're gonna do cut here, and now we can start making the door frame. So move that up to about there, and we'll do this one more time on each side. About like that. So then we'll go to face select mode, and we'll select all these faces right here, and this middle one as well, and we'll press 7 to go to the top, Z to go in the wireframe, and we're going to extrude out. And I should probably move to where our faces are. So Control Z, since I now have duplicated faces, and we'll do this again. So I'll go extrude, and I'll just extrude it out a bit. There we go. And so if you go to the front, you can now see we have a door frame. But now I need some doors to go into that. So I'll press 1 to go to front, A to deselect. And I'm just gonna move this up a bit, so I'll go Alt right click. Never mind. Alright, so now we're gonna add the doors. So I'm gonna go Control R, and we'll just set up the doors where they're gonna go. So we'll go and we'll select these faces here, press 7 to go to top, Z for wireframe, and then we'll extrude them out. And we're not going to extrude them out quite as far as the door frame, so just press E to extrude and bring about halfway, about there. And tab back, sorry, press Z to go back to solid, and we have our doors here. So now we're going to add some windows to them. So we'll go Control R over this way, middle mouse wheel up, and just move that up here, up there. Alt right click this edge loop, press G, Z, and just move it down a little bit more to about there. And we'll select the two planes where our windows are, and press I to inset this, about that. And we'll select the two middle ones from that, press 7 to go to top, Z to go in the wireframe, and I'll just extrude these back a bit. About there. And then we'll have some windows now. If we tab out, we can see our door. And now we just need to add some handles, because you can't open a door if it doesn't have those. So go tab back in, go Control R, middle mouse wheel up, and we'll just move these up about there. And they look like a pretty good size there for the metal chunk, so I'm just going to leave that, not adjust it. But we have to go and do it here. Just going to middle mouse wheel up, click it, and we're going to scale this on the X by 0.5. Then we're going to move this on the X by about G, X 0.1. No. GX 0.15. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So middle mouse wheel up, right click, scale on the X by 0.5. And then we're going to go G, X, and since we're moving it to the left, we're going to go negative 0.15. And that'll be where our handles go. So we're going to select those faces and press 7 to go to top, Z to go in wireframe, and I'm just going to extrude it not very much off the door there, just a slight amount. And we'll go back to wireframe by pressing Z, or sorry, solid by pressing Z, and we're going to add our handles onto these. So go Control R, middle mouse wheel up, and right click, and I'm just going to scale on the Z to about the height that I want to see for the outside of them. So out there, and do the same thing. Scale by pressing S and then Z, and about that thick. So looking about at these faces here for our handle are going to come off. We'll make it a little thinner, so we'll go Control R on the vertical part, and we'll scale that in on the X, and same thing over here. About there. And so select these 4 faces, press 7 to go to top, wireframe, and we'll extrude those out, and we'll extrude them once more, and I'll explain that in a second. To about there. So that's where our handles are going to be. And so now we just have to add the little middle part there. So we're going to go zoom out first, and go to front. I'm going to select all these faces here, and I'm going to press H to hide them. Oh, I'm missing a few. Sorry, gotta go on a wireframe to do this. So select all these faces here, H to hide those, and then we're gonna go to top, and I'm also gonna hide these ones here, just so that I can get a view of my handles that I'm working on. So we'll go back and we'll scroll in on these. I'm going to right click one and press period so that I can just work right around there. And I'm going to select the 4 faces here and press delete, and then just going to delete the faces. Then we're going to go to edge select mode, and we're just going to alt right click these 2 here, go space, and I'm going to search up edge, and we're going to bridge the 2 edge loops. So I just put some together and we have our handle. And we're going to do the same thing here, so we'll go alt right click and shift alt right click and space, and since it's the last thing we searched, it's just right there, and we'll do it again. And so now our doors are complete. So if we go scroll out again and we go alt H, everything comes back. And so this is where we're at now. So we got our building without windows, but we have our door down there. And so we'll just add some windows in, and then we will throw the escapes on the top. So we'll go to right, or your right perspective right now, because I went into perspective, and press 5 to go back to orthographic, and we'll tab in once more. And now we're going to add some cuts for our windows. I'm going to add more than I need and then dissolve as I go, rather than try and just so that they're even out, rather than trying to guesstimate it. So we'll go to about there. Yeah. And so we're just gonna delete every other edge loop. So I'm gonna go this one, and then every 3 after that. So 1, 2, this one, oops. And remember, hold shift while you're doing this. So shift alt and then right click these edge loops. And so we'll just dissolve these ones by going delete and edge loop. And it looks a little funky like that, but if you just press A, you can see that they're all fine. So we'll go and decide which ones we want to do as windows. I'm going to do these large ones though. So I'm going to go to face select, and I'm just going to select all of these faces. So the small ones here we're not going to, but we're going to do every other one. So the large ones. And then up here I'm just going to do a couple of these. And then we're going to inset these, pressing I. I don't need to do very much, about there. And then we're going to select the inside of our insets. So do this all over again. Gotta be patient with this because it takes some time. Alright, so now we have all those. We can go 7 to top, Z to wireframe. We're just gonna extrude our windows back a bit. Don't do it very far, probably just to about there. And if you tab out and press Z to go back to their solid, you can see we have some nice windows. And so we're just gonna do that on the other side, and that'll pretty much be our windows. So we'll go to front by pressing 1, and I'll just press 4 a few times until we're at this. Just lets us go down in a little when you press 4, it rotates around in 15-degree increments. So just gotta rotate 90 degrees. So we'll do the same thing where we're selecting these faces. And we'll do the same thing, we'll inset them out there, and select the middle again. And 7 to go to the top, Z to go on the wireframe, and we'll extrude these back to about there. And I'll press Z to go back into solid, and I'll tab out, and then if we rotate around, we can see we have windows on all sides of our building now. And what we have left is just adding our escapes on the top. So we're not going to build these on from our mesh here, just because we're already getting around 4,000 polys. So we're going to go tab out and just our object mode, shift A, add mesh, and we'll add a cube, and we'll just move that over. So we're going to tab in on the cube, and we'll just move this top edge down 1. So on GZ -1. Actually, I'll bring it down a little more than that. I'll just hand drag that though. Now let's select this edge, or face I guess, and bring this in on the X. It's about there. And we'll select this back one, and press 3 to go to right, and just bring that in. And so now we just have to add doors onto this, and then we'll place them up here, and then we will have our building. So we'll go to front, and same thing we were doing the doors over here, we'll just set them up here. So we'll go Control R, and we'll scale these on the X, bring those out to about there, and Control R, move this to the top. And now we'll set up our door frame. So do Control R again, go to mouse wheel, scale that on the X. And bring it, oops. Get it a little more. And then Control R, and we'll just move that up there. And so we'll go select these faces. Oops. 7 to go to the top, and E to extrude this out there. And now we'll do the door, so same thing, we'll go to front, scale this on the X pretty close to this, and move that up, and then we'll just do our door. 7, then go to wireframe, and same thing, we'll extrude it up, but not quite as far as our door frame. About there. And then we'll add the little handle. So we'll go Control R, or mouse wheel up. I'll scale this on the Z, bring it a little bit smaller. About there. Control R here, no mouse wheel up, scale this on the X, it's about there. I'll just bring that over, and then we'll add the handle after we extrude this out. So we'll select that face, 7 to go to top, Z for wireframe, and we'll extrude this out, and then we'll go back to front, go back to solid, and then we'll add the handle parts. So go Control R, mouse wheel up, and we'll scale that up on the Z. Do the same process as before on the other door. So I'm going to mouse wheel up again, right click, scale on the X, scale on the Z, sorry. About there. Here, and mouse wheel up. This one will scale on the X. I'll bring that in a bit, out there. And then we'll select our faces for the handle. Go to top, Z. Extrude it twice again. And same thing, we'll go back to solid. Select these two faces. And we'll delete the faces. Go to edge select, alt right click, and shift alt right click this edge loop, space, and it's still our last searched one, so we'll bridge the edge loops. And that'll be our fire escape on the top. So we'll press tab to go out, and we'll select this, so we'll go to front, zoom out a bit, go into wireframe. And we're just going to place this up here, so we'll just get ready by sitting it up there. Down into place. That's about where I want that, and we'll just go on the roof and place it where we want it on there. About there is good. And so we'll duplicate this by going Control D, no, Shift D, and I'll just move this one to where we want it. And since we were moving these roof parts up in the 0.25 increments, I just have to move this down by 0.5. So go G, Z, negative 0.5. That'll be on there, and then we'll do the same thing again. So go 7 to top, Shift D to duplicate it, move it over into place, and press 1 to go to front, G, Z, and G, Z, and negative 0.5. And there you go. So we'll go back into solid, press A to deselect everything, and we'll go to orthographic. Jokes, we were in the orthographic. We'll go into perspective, sorry. And then we can get a look at our finished model. So we have our building all modeled there. Next up, Keith will be unwrapping it. Then he'll be setting up some textures, and then I will be texturing the building for you next week. So thanks for tuning in. This is Corwin Smith from Tech Tyro, and we'll see you guys next time.